Hello and welcome. I'm Aornbrynmakbur, and I usually don't do any sort of commentary with these videos, but I made a lot of very questionable decisions in this tournament that for the most part did tend to work out, but I figured rather than trying to explain them piecewise after the fact, it would be better to give a live commentary and kind of work through the logic a little bit in real time so that there weren't any questions or any confusion about any of the decisions I made or any of the leads I chose or anything like that. So, without further ado, let's get right into it, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope you find it informative.
So right in round 1, we have a very positive lead. I was anticipating Galvantula, Cast Form, or Crustal, so I figured Blaziken was a pretty safe lead. It also does okay against Swampert, and pretty well against Meganium, so I figured it was probably safest. So my strategy here is you never shield the first Weather Ball, you just shield the second one if you need to, which I obviously did. So the Mantine comes out. I wanted to think I have Stone Edge, I wanted to blow Shield, and I make a very dumb decision and use the Blast Burn immediately, so he's got no incentive in rounds 2 and 3 to shield that at all. So I sent in the Mantine there because I'm anticipating a Galvantula in the back and I don't want to get locked into it with my own Mantine. And also my Mantine is running Ice Beam, so it's usually able to win the mirror, but his does have a decent energy advantage, so he is able to win this mirror. So when I noticed that I was losing the mirror, my strategy became to hope that I lost it, but he had so little health that I was able to Bullet Seed 2 or 3 times and come into the next matchup with a good amount of energy. So you'll see here, we CMP tie, and he does win with just a little sliver of health. I come in with the Ferrothorn, I do Bullet Seed it down, but he lands the Bubble Beam. So obviously not great, not the worst, but it could be better. And then Meganium comes in, really wasn't expecting it. I threw a Flash Cannon, didn't shield it. And I know I should have gone for a Power Whip here for the bait, but I wasn't feeling very comfortable. I just wanted to just Flash Cannon at home. So he lands the Earthquake, and I don't win this because of skill. I win it because of luck and because Ferrothorn is very, very bulky, and he's able to survive that Earthquake. But, I mean, technically, with the mistakes I made, I should have lost that match. So coming into the second game, we have Ferrothorn versus Galvantula. I was anticipating Meganium, Swampert, Galvantula, or Crustal, which is, 4 out of 6, so I was anticipating a lot, but I figured Ferrothorn would be pretty safe. Cast Form into Blaziken. Again, you don't shield the first Weather Ball, you just eat it. So I do use a Blaze Kick on him here, because I don't want him to get another Weather Ball, because I want to maintain both Switch and Shield advantage going forward. So he obviously has no reason to shield, he knows I don't have Stone Edge, but it still takes half health, so not too bad. Send in Ferrothorn, or send in Mantine, because he's got the Galvantula in the back. I do land a Bubble Beam, and then I'm able to go right into my Ferrothorn. Pretty straightforward, you just have to count them. And he probably should have won this, but I don't think that he has Bug Buzz on his Galvantula. I think he's running either Energy Ball or Poison Fang, because he just goes straight discharges all the way home here. And he's not able to quite get me before I get my final Power Whip. So you can see here, if he had gone for the Bug Buzz, he would have taken me out and then had a discharge ready for my own Mantine. But regardless, it was very, very close. And then my Mantine comes in with a significant health advantage, but a big energy disadvantage. So he lands 2 Aerial Aces before I'm even able to get my first Ice Beam. So it is very, very, very close, but I do pull it out. Alright, so into round 3, we have a Mantine versus Swampert. This is a pretty even lead, especially if he has Sludge Wave, but his Swampert is not running Sludge Wave. He doesn't even go up to the Earthquake to try to bait me into thinking he has Sludge Wave. He goes straight Hydro Cannons the whole way, and I go straight Bubble Beams. So Mantine and Swampert straight Bubble Beam versus Hydro Cannon, Mantine does win by just a little bit. I don't think it's IV dependent, but it could very well be. So here I land one more Bubble Beam before he's able to get his last Hydro Cannon, and that makes the difference. And then he's 2 wing attacks away from KO. And he sends in his own Mantine and a mirror here in a second. There it is, kills me in 1 wing attack, which is fine. I have Ferrothorn. In comes Sunny Cast form, I send in Blaziken. So even shields, I kind of went into autopilot a little bit here. I thought that it was an easy matchup and I was going to win. But you'll see that that is not quite the case. So I'm forced to shield here because if I tried to Bullet Seed it down, it would have embered me down too much as Ferrothorn. He does shield the Blast Burn, which is probably not necessary, but didn't hurt. And then he Aerial Aces me, or he Bubble Beams me here, and then he goes straight Aerial Aces after this. So shields the first one. I land the second one, and then... Or no, he goes one more Bubble Beam, and then Aerial Aces me down. So I land that. And then I land one more Power Whip, but I actually miss a bubble in the little mini game, and I don't think that it would have been enough to KO, but it could have at least made it a little bit closer. So you see I missed that one there. And then he's able to get to the Aerial Ace before I can get to my own Power Whip. And that is game 3. Alright, so into round 2. Ferrothorn versus Galvantula, pretty positive lead. I figured Ferrothorn beats all but his own Ferrothorn and his Typhlosion, so it was a pretty safe lead. So I'm counting, he did get 4 Volt Switches, so I do shield the Bug Buzz. In comes Typhlosion. This matchup actually really surprised me, so I go straight Bubble Beams on it because Ice Beam is obviously not very effective. I don't shield his Blast Burns, and it ends up with him being able to Shadow Claw me down after the second Blast Burn. There it is, and then I send an Ampharos. I shield his Blast Burn, and I farm him down with Volt Switches. So Ampharos takes out the low health Galvantula, and then very, very luckily I'm able to Volt Switch it down before it gets its own move, and then it's just a Mantine in the back. So 1 Volt Switch, 1 Thunder Punch, and then another Volt Switch. Pretty easy. Alright, so into the second game we see this matchup again, the Swampert versus the Mantine, and his Swampert actually is running Sludge Wave, but we don't see that until later. So I go straight Bubble Beams again, and before the Swampert dies, he swaps it out. We'll see that in a minute here. He lets me land one more Bubble Beam and then he swaps out. Right, another Galvantula, I land a Bubble Beam. So then obviously I'm going to swap right into the Ferrothorn. And I'm counting these. I don't think that he had 4, but he very well might have. I don't shield it either way. And then I'm definitely counting these ones, and he definitely gets 4. So I shield the Bug Buzz when he throws it. And then obviously that's not 4 yet. Farm it down, plenty of energy. I fire off 2 Power Whips against the Typhlosion. The first one does a good chunk of damage, so he does shield the second one. And then I'm able to send in Ampharos. Shield the Blast Burn, and then I think I do farm it down here. Oh, swaps into the Swampert, and luckily it didn't have Earthquake, so I eat this, kill it with 1 Thunder Punch, and then I'm able to throw 1 more Thunder Punch on the Typhlosion to kill it. Alright, into game 3, Ampharos versus Crustal. It's a pretty even lead, and it looked like a little bit of lag, but he didn't say anything about it, and it didn't really seem to impact anything. Rock Blast. I wouldn't have expected that. If I was leading Mantine, I definitely would have eaten that. So I do get him to blow both of his shields here, which is very nice. And I only need to blow one. And then the Ampharos comes out of this with a little bit of health and a good amount of energy. So right into the Galvantula, I can land one Thunder Punch before I die. So that's 3 Volt Switches. I send in the Mantine and then immediately go into the Ferrothorn so that he fires a Discharge and blows all of his energy so he's not able to hit me with a Bug Buzz. So this mirror is pretty even, but it turned out that he didn't have Flash Cannon, he had Mirror Shot. So the advantage did go to me. So my strategy is to wait for the next Mirror Shot and then attempt to swap Mantine into it because it's not very effective. So you'll see here I try to swap, and of course he goes for the Power Whip. Here comes Galvantula, and I am able to kill it with one Ice Beam when it comes out. He lands, or I shield a Mirror Shot. He was trying to debuff me, and then I kill the Galvantula with one Ice Beam. And then, fairly straightforward, my Ferrothorn comes out. It's got a pretty significant energy advantage, so it's able to outpace him to the Power Whip. Alright, so into round 3. I kind of anticipated either Stunfisk or Blaziken lead, so while it wasn't quite what I was hoping for, I figured this would at least make it safer for me to lead Ferrothorn in round 2, because he probably would not lead Blaziken twice in a row. So I land the Focus Blast, not too bad. It's a pretty bad matchup for him, Ampharos. And then I'm able to send in my Ferrothorn and farm it down, but it does actually take a good amount of my health with the Mud Bombs on the way down. So Blaziken comes back out. I do land one Flash Cannon against it, and then immediately swap into Mantine. So he tries to land a Stone Edge, and I shield it, of course. And then Kingdra comes in a second here, and I try to land an Ice Beam on it, but he was anticipating it. So I know it's Noctizuka, but my only win scenario here is if I can somehow blow a shield and kill his Kingdra with enough energy for an entire Power Whip against Blaziken, so I know it's already over. And then here comes Blaziken to kill me in one counter. Alright, so game 2 has a Ferrothorn mirror. Pretty even. I don't know what second move his Ferrothorn has, even now. I don't think I ever saw it. But he sends in the Worm, eats a Flash Cannon, and I immediately go to Ampharos because I figure it's kind of neutral. So I'm not counting these confusions here, and I really should have been. He goes for the Iron Head, and I do shield it. So I go for the Thunder Punch, and then it takes it to a little bit of health, and then I'm able to Volt Switch it down. So he makes a weird decision. He sends in the Kingdra here, I'm assuming because he was afraid of the Focus Blast, but I'm able to take out a good chunk of his Kingdra's health with this Ampharos, and then that just really paves the way for Ferrothorn going forward. So we're back in the mirror. I go for the Flash Cannon, and I think he goes for a Power Up right away. Yeah. So I'll stay in it for a little bit, but I want to swap out the Mantine so that my Ferrothorn is up against the Kingdra in the end. And he straight Power Whips, and I'm basically just gambling that he doesn't have Thunder here. I was kind of banking on him having either Mirror Shot or Flash Cannon. So as an Octazooka, it doesn't really do too much to me, but it does debuff me, and then he hits me with another Octazooka, but that completely takes out his energy, and then I'm able to just power whip him once. Alright, so into the final round, I led Ferrothorn twice, so I figured he was going to lead either Blaziken or Stunfisk, thinking that either I was going to do it again, or I was going to, like, severely course correct. So I went for Jump Bluff, because Blaziken either comes out of it with a little tiny bit of health, or no shields. And then, Stunfisk is obviously completely annihilated by Jump Bluff, and especially since his Stunfisk is running Mud Shot. So he sends in Kingdra, I go right to the Ferrothorn. And that little tiny bit of health on Jump Bluff is very pivotal in the end. So I kind of expected it, but I didn't want to blow a shield, and he does hit me with a Blizzard. That hurts. But it's fine, he does not shield this Power Whip, so I maintain both switch and shield advantage going forward. I send in Mantine, and he overtaps on the Stone Edge, so he doesn't quite get it. I land the Ice Beam, and then I'm trying to blow the shields so that Jump Bluff can just Energy Ball at once and, you know, be on its way, but he does really cling onto these shields. He eats the Bubble Beam, and I've blown both my shields now, so now I've got a Bubble Beam, and then I immediately swap in Jump Bluff, do an Aerial Ace. I probably should have just stuck with quick moves, but it worked out in the end. All thanks to Mudshot. So GG's to everybody, and I hope that the commentary at least helped a little bit illuminate some of the decisions I made, and also I'm sorry that I didn't use my Corsola.